إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة
حول ولا قوة إلا بالله
حي على الصلاة
حول ولا قوة إلا بالله
حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر
الله أكبر الله أكبر
لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله. Okay, so we were saying, so the order, the Prophet ﷺ gives us an order. So he says to Mu'adh bin Jabal, he says, when you're going to the people of the book. So who are these people? These people that already believe in God, right? They already believe in some kind of creator, God. So he's saying, so the first thing you call them to is what? La ilaha illallah. Did he say call them to your politics, call them to your masjid, call them to your culture, call them to, the Arab food? No. It's call them to Tawheed. Okay? And then what? What's the next thing? If they do that, get them to worship Allah. So what we're saying, and then obviously take from them what is they can give, right? And give to the needy. What we're saying is, so we should understand from how the Prophet ﷺ is teaching us, or teaching the companions how to give dawah, which is teaching us. Okay? So, really important for us to know, the dawah is not to call to our own culture, our imam, race, community, group, desires, political ideology. One of the things we find a lot of times, like where we're in just Ummah Masjid in Halifax, and one of the things we're understanding from some of the du'ats today, what they would do is they would get into these conversation and start talking about Palestine. And look what's happening there. And that's not dawah. Okay? And that's not the place that you want to discuss that. Is there a time and a place to discuss this? Yes, there is. But at that time, you want to discuss what is important, is to call to Tawheed. Okay? Okay? And we've seen this, that sometimes we go to these universities, the sisters, mashallah, amazing. They do a lot of help with the support of the dawah. And sometimes they have this hijab day, right? Which is great. Nobody's negating that it's not a good way of giving dawah. But we're saying it, but that's not dawah. If somebody finds out about wearing a hijab makes you pious, that's not getting them to become a Muslim. That's not getting them to worship Allah. That's not getting them closer to Islam. So, it's not about, not eating pork and so on and so forth, right? And look at Aisha radiallahu anha. She says, the first thing, if the first thing was really, told us to do's and don'ts, well, none of us would be Muslim. So the first thing we were told what? It's about Allah, who Allah is, and Tawheed. So this is the part I want you to kind of really think about, right? That when we're calling people, we want to call them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay? And the Sheikh explained this part earlier about Nuh alayhi salam, that he gave dawah for 950 years. And it wasn't how many people, it was the effort. But all we're asking from you guys and us is to just make effort. And Allah will put barakah on it, inshallah. We'll stop here, inshallah. We'll stop for the salah, and then we'll come back. So we're going to do, Sheikh, we're going to do lunch, right, after this? Go ahead. Yeah.
Just a second, please. So, as the brother mentioned about, the da'wah and calling to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And very important, do not go into argument, because people, they might argue about many things. As a teacher of Islam, they ask you about a side question. Always take them back to the Tawheed. Even if you convince them what they ask about it, that's logical and that's, something good for them. But what's the point? Even being convinced that, what they ask about it, they ask you about pork, for example. You told them it's haram and the logic behind. And so what's the benefit you are giving to them? So do not waste your time and effort about this. Always go back to Tawheed. And even if they ask you a question, you tell them, you know what? We're going to talk about that later. And go back to the Tawheed. Talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. None of these came at the first stage of Islam. For the first 10 years of Islam, there's no all these commands and all of these. What Rasulullah was teaching Sahaba for 10 years in Mecca. Tawheed. The Mecca period was 13 years, and before Isra and Mi'raj, there's no even 5 daily prayers. So the Tawheed, that's the most important thing. Do not go into argument, and do not even use the debate. Try to stay away from debates, because that, make people challenge and being resistance. People, as a human, they don't like to be losers. So when you debate and you win the debate, actually you lost the heart of that person. We want to win the heart of that person, to bring in the person back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's very important. That's how you're making a da'wah. So that's the most important parts are coming, being like subhanahu wa ta'ala, and more challenging part is coming. So please stay with us and be motivated. We're going to stop for Dhuhr prayer. After Dhuhr prayer, we're going to share the lunch together, inshallah, and then we come back. What time we should be here? Yes. So maximum at 2 we start? Yes. So we start at 2? 2 o'clock, please, now, and after 2, please. We are going to have the lunch here. The mosque provide the lunch. So after Salah, will be 2 areas. In the main lobby, that will be the brothers, and on the aisle will be the sisters. So we're talking about upstairs. So inshallah, your lunch will be provided. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.